Good morning, everyone. It's Sherry at, I was going to say Attic Inspired Crafter because that's usually how I start my videos, but I'm taking a little different spin during the summer months, and I refer to myself as an East Coast gardener. As we live in Nova Scotia, Canada, our zone can be anywhere from a zone A to B, depending on which zone maps I look at. And I try not to plant anything less than a zone 5 just to be safe. So here we are at the very end. I've been doing Facebook Lives for a few weeks now just to touch on different points of our garden. And today I tried to do that, but where I'm so far away from the house and I'm in a low area, that it kept cutting in and out. So I thought I'd do a recording here and post it on YouTube as well as Facebook. So that's why there is a difference. So there is going to be some traffic coming by. We are right on or near the main road. So this is kind of the view that people get when they pass our property. This fence was made of logs that Darren cut down. And up here, you will see these funky birdhouses that I absolutely adore. I am a crafter, and anything that's antique or old that we can repurpose is also a passion of mine. So this came from old claimed wood. We did some building in our house for different things when we built our house, and this was leftover wood and just hardware that I found, and we just kept it in. I asked him to make birdhouses and he did, and I just love them. So this is like a standing fence. It's kind of sad right now. There's Lily. Lily's our family cat. And it's sad because it's been a bit of a struggle to find things that are going to thrive here. As I said, this is the very bottom of our property, and there is a gentle slope all the way down, and we get some really wet terrain down here. Normally, by this time, it's dried up, but this year has been an exceptional rain year for us, rain spring. And then to add to that, those that have been following my videos, I'll show you as we move up the yard, but there was a large patch of white birch that we actually lost in a hurricane last year, and the roots on that was massive. We had to have a company come in and clean them all out and reseed, and because of that system not being there, I believe it's adding to the wetness that's coming down the hill. So however, we will get there, but I thought I'd show you this part. And there is a little bit of woodland in between this fence and then the clearing towards the house, which I really love. It's like a little secret fairy garden. And I don't know, but I hope all these little trees stay. We have some over on the other side as well. And I would love to do some sort of planting in amongst that as well someday. That might be on our to-do list for next year. So in here, back to this patch, we do have some things. Now I am experimenting. Here's another car where I am part of the David Suzuki program called the Butterfly Way program. And that's, I really encourage you to go over to his website and have a look and see what that's about. But it's really about planting native plants to your area. They're perennials, so they come back every year, but they're native to your area. And it's things that the pollinators really depend on to reproduce and to grow. So all these little tiny seedlings you see in here are actually some of those plants. There's milkweed, there's echinacea, there's some rudbeckia. So I'm hoping those will take off. The area needs to be mulched, but because those little seedlings are so tiny, we're just going to leave it be for now. I did plant some irises last year, and they seem to be taking off. There's one behind Lily, behind the fence. Over on this end, we have a, let me see if I can remember the name of it. It will come to me. But it is a shrub that's been here now for 3 years. It's growing, it's not dying, but it's not thriving. So I do plan on moving that this fall. up to another bed that we're going to be developing. And in its place, I'll put some more really thirsty plants that likes to have their roots in constant dampness. We do have some geranium down here that hasn't bloomed yet. And we have some grasses that always do wonderful. They look a little scrawny right now, but by the fall they'll be up past the top of the fence. And I may fill in with some annuals just for some extra color. This little thing here, I think it is actually, I want to say it's a clematis, but I can't remember. And it is a trailer, so I've tried several things here to trail. One year I did roses, and the first year they were glorious, and then they died. I think it was just too wet for them to maintain the next spring, but we'll get there. We have some volunteer pansies that keep coming up because of years of planting. We have some more iris back here, more grass, ornamental grasses, more of those little milkweed and echinacea. Now these I'm very thrilled about. This is yarrow, which seems to like it here, and then 2 patches of poppies. Their first year to bloom was last year. This one only has 1 bud on it, but that one has lots of buds. So I can't wait for it to open. What did bloom last year opened, and it was this beautiful bright orange. I could see the blooms from the house. So that was exciting. So that is this kind of side view of this area. Again, we need mulch. We need to work a little more on it to get it to where I want it, because it is the first thing people see when they drive by the house. And this structure alone is beautiful, but I would like some more color. So we are working on that. So here we go. We'll walk up, and please pardon the jiggling. And as you can see, as we cross the drain here, it is still quite wet. Well, we've had so much rain. I see a big shadow. So we'll come over here and we'll explore this end while we're down here. Our little dogwood tree that I showed before. Oh, it does have a few buds. I wasn't expecting it to do too much. Let me see if I can get out of the shadow this year. But I do see it bloomed a little bit. It's a brand new one for us, so we'll see how it does. And then this is the hydrangea area. And Darren did get at this and mulched it, and it looks beautiful. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 limelight hydrangeas. In between we had tulips that I'm just waiting for them to finish putting on their green and soaking up the nutrients for next year. And then I planted some jazzberry vistas down here. Again, I don't know how well to do. This area is wet, but so far so good. The hydrangeas are looking lovely and green. This is a view of the house and the property from this side of the garden. And then as we walk up, we see the lovely red maples. These were planted last year. All this area was planted up last year. This is a silver variegated maple that's looking rather lovely. I was worried at the beginning of the spring, as when it started putting on its leaves, we had a hard frost and they did turn brown, but it looks like it rebounded exceptionally well. And then this is another area which looks so nice now that it's been mulched. Tulips that are just dying down that need to be pulled soon. We have another incredible hydrangea. We have a forsythia in there. I did plant up some catmint or nepeta and some more coneflower last night. We have more tulips in the back that I don't know if they're going to open or if they're dying, but the stems look really lush and they have these little bulb points. We have a cherry tree that's out of bloom now, and look at this glorious willow. It's very nice. And then we have a burning bush and another very golden yellow shrub. So that's that area. And now we have another silver variegated maple, another red maple. Here we have a form of cherry tree. And then if I swing you around to this side, we'll get a little closer. This is where all the birch were that had to be taken out. Upside is we have opportunity to do something different in this area, and we have lots of firewood. Downside is we have to kind of wait until we can work the area. The grass has been planted. Again, so much extreme winter or wetness this season. I posted a picture a couple of nights ago now of, again, part of the project that I'm working on with the David Suzuki program is creating these butterfly way gardens. And this, so we had the ability to make 2 large patches, and each area, we planted 130 perennials. So that kind of gives you for the size. Really hoping it takes off. A lot of these things I was able to winter seed and start myself, but then we did contribute to our local garden center as well, as always. So it hasn't been mowed yet, still too wet to run the mower over it, but the grass is growing and looking lush. We'll continue up the drive, and then I'll just we'll review the things that we looked at a few weeks ago, just to show you what the growth has been like. The perennials that have been established for some time are absolutely loving the rain, and you'll see I have some ginormous hostas that will definitely have to be divided this fall or early spring. This is a new bed, and the sun's kind of weird, so I'm going to go to the bottom and look up. And this is the one that is just filled to the brim with heuchera. This is the only sun this bed will get today. It might get an hour, and then that is it. So we have some transplanted hostas from last year. Lots of heuchera, and just lots and lots of impatiens. We have a beautiful bleeding heart that we transplanted out. That's loving its life right here. Their blooms are just so pretty. They're very magical. And then just a sea of color, which is great. It's a very lovely pop. I'm hoping they'll raise up a little bit. They don't get too much height, but I'm hoping they'll fill in even more, that we'll be able to see them from the below yard. So if I swing you around, this is where we just came from. And then we have a couple of sedum on either side. So we're going to skip the pots for today. We'll do those another day. But I will swing you over to show you around the house on all the perennial beds and what's happening. Didn't get up here yet to mulch, but making our way. So since our last video, we have more volunteer pansies just rocking it out. They're finding spots all over to shine. I did put a few annuals in here, some more petunias of different colors. And these are some, oh, I popped in a few more primrose. Don't know how quite they're going to do here because they get hot sun in the afternoon, but we'll see. This perennial, I'll have to look up the name of it, but it's just the variegation of its leaves is striking, but it does bloom these little tiny purple flowers. I have one here, one there, and I think there might be one somewhere else. We have what looks like a geranium here, and then these flowers are just coming out of bloom. And then we have a few coreopsis tucked in on either side. This side of the house does not get sun until late afternoon, but when it does, it gets the hottest sun of the day. So now let's move, and you will see a difference. If you look back at the video that we had the last time I went around the house, you will certainly see the difference in the growth. So this is right beside our shed, and it will get sun most of the day. So the sun's starting to come up now over here in this corner, and it will make its way, and it will get full sun. And these hostas do not mind it. So I know some hostas are more tender than others. We did have a few planted over from the area I just showed you that did not like it at all. So we did move those. But these ones, they're just rocking it and getting quite large. Like this one is probably 3 feet wide and 3 feet deep. So 3 feet round. We have some phlox that are getting ready to go for it. We have some nice lilies. Another beautiful hosta that's quite large. Another lily. We have some chickens and hens, or hens and chickens. And we have a whole bunch of volunteer seedlings, which I'm hoping are phlox. And I'm just waiting to see what they will do. So we haven't mulched here yet neither. Some lilies. Another very large hosta. And then a shrub. We have a little bird bath. And again from this area. Now we do have a hibiscus that I'm waiting for the green to come pop through. Darren keeps telling me to be patient because last year we thought it was dead, and then the green popped through, and very quickly we had large dinner plate blooms. So this is kind of behind. We have a little pool. It's behind there, and this is our backyard, which I am so grateful for. We see all sorts of wildlife, and it's just so peaceful sitting out on our back deck looking up here and just listening to the birds. And then on this side of the deck we have a hydrangea tree, and last night I spotted, I don't know if I can pick one out here. Oh, there's one. All kinds of buds. So this blooms like pinnacle blooms, and it is loaded with buds, so I cannot wait for that. We have a little hosta here that's actually starting to bloom. It's a new one from last year, so it's got some substantial size to it. Filled in with some annuals since the last time we did our run through. Lots of lilies in this bed, and you'll see lots of lilies as we move forward. Love the lilies. They bring such vibrant color and structure. Very tall stakes of stalks before they bloom, and very strong. Don't know if I'll have to stake them. At this point, no, but they're very sturdy, but they're also getting very tall. So we have phlox that will bloom. We have that leafy thing right there is actually a Gerber daisy that does have some buds that are going to come through. We have some sedum, more phlox. This is the update on the peonies. So they're all budded up, a big bunch of them. Can't wait for them to open. They're looking fabulous. And then we have one peony with a lone stalk here, but it has a bud. So that's good. So we have two bunches here. One's lower than the other. And then this is this bed. Again, it's filling in nicely. We have some sedum. We have a whole bunch of coneflower that's going to burst into lots of blooms. We have some lilies, some geraniums, hardy geraniums. And that patch of grass is just a patch of grass. So I thought it was something coming up, but it's a patch of grass. So I'll be hauling that out, and opportunity to pop something new in, which is always great. Some more yarrow. Uh, this looks like a geranium of some sort back there, but we'll see what it blooms. And then we have some hollyhocks. And down on this side, I missed it. The hummingbirds are loving the wedgelias. They are just so loaded with blossoms, and they are now all opening. And it's this deep ruby outside with a light pink inner bloom, and they are just so pretty, and the hummingbirds love them. So they have been over here just drinking it all up. This is the side view. So lots of growth since we last went through this. Hostas, these lilies have now outgrown my height, so they're going towards the 5.5-foot range. Massive, and they're going to put on some great blooms. These are the ones that Darren was a little concerned that we might have to stake. If we don't get any wind, I think their stems are really strong, but to make sure, we may stake them up. Some more lilies here, and there are different variety of lilies as they get blooming. We have a little plant back there. We have foxglove, astilbe, that's the name of that one back there. More lilies, some heuchera, some primrose that bloomed and are outside of their bloom, but they will rebloom. We popped in some annuals. This hosta, as you can see, we put annuals all the way down into there, some impatiens. And this hosta, I'm not sure what happened, but it exploded. Like, this hosta is massive. It is my arm span, so 4.5 feet wide and probably close to 5 feet deep. It is huge and we love it. But we will separate it to give everything else in the garden some breathing room, because there is a lily back there that I'm not sure it's going to get much opportunity to show its stuff this year. So we'll see. More lilies, different kind of lilies. We have like the bush variety and then the stem ones. And then we come over here to another wedgelia. Again, just opening up its blooms and doing fabulous. This one doesn't get as much sun as the other end, so it's a little bit behind in opening, but it will definitely come. Some impatiens. And we're back to the front of the house, and this area will get sun probably for 3 or 4 hours, and then that will be it. And then it will come over to the side for a little bit longer, and as it makes its way around, then it's a little bit longer still. Azaleas look wonderful. They are in full bloom and really, really looking nice. Not particularly happy with some of my window boxes yet, but again, it's the rain factor. They've gotten so much rain that they're not accustomed to, so really hoping that they bounce back. We have some heather. We have, it's hard to know where to stand to not cast shadow. We have some, I think this is Nepeta down here getting ready to bloom. We do have a spirea, and that will bloom white flowers. And we have a couple of, I think these are another form of like catmint or veronicas that haven't bloomed yet. But this is a surprise. So we have one here that hasn't bloomed yet, and this one is in full bud. So these are they're like baby carnations, dianthus, and they're treated as an annual around here. And I did plant some out here as annuals last summer, and lo and behold, they came back this year. I'm not holding out for a long life for them, but hey, I will take whatever year they choose to come back. And there's some little brilliant pink flowers. And then we have some more heather, some more lilies. Back here there is a still bee. There's 3 of them. There are some coleus back there as well in a variegated bush. We have another type of Weigela here, which will bloom different blooms. And then we just go on and we have another bleeding heart, some more lilies, and that's that part. Now I will show you over on the side. So we're back kind of to the front. But over here I do have a little bit of a raised bed garden. This urn is a recent find on one of our buy-sell sites. It is cast iron, very heavy, and I love it. So we just planted it up here in the center of these raised beds for this year, but I really like it there, so I don't think I'll change it. We have a bit of a concerning tree right here. So with the hurricane, we lost the birch, but we also had this huge split in this particular tree. One half of it already fell, and we know the other half is too unstable, but it's quite high. So Darren is trying to figure out how he can cut that beast down without it falling on my beds here. So we'll get that figured out. Garlic. Garlic is just going for it. So this first bed is all garlic. The next bed over this year I decided to fill it with bulbs of, or corms, roots for dahlias and yeah, so for dahlias, I got them from Vessi Seeds. Some of them popped up really well, some did not. So I did fill in with a few annuals that I had left. And it's just an experiment to see what's going to take and what's not. Those that do grow and take well, I will dig up at the store over the winter, and then we'll pot them up maybe somewhere else next year. But again, gardening's an experiment. And in this bed, I dedicated it this year to asparagus. It says herbs up there, but it's actually asparagus. And as we all know, you grow asparagus, you can't touch it for at least the 3rd year. So we're just letting it grow into its ferns. I did have a few tomato plants and pepper plants left that I kind of popped in here or there. So we'll see how those do over here. But this is kind of a raised bed area. Originally, it was supposed to be my food garden bed, but we are a little ways away from a water source. We do have some taps on the house, but did not want to drag a hose over here. So the dragging the water bins has become quite a chore. So I will take you over to where we decided to grow food this year. It's a bit of a longer tour, but I wanted to kind of take you up through the whole thing and show you the progress that's being made. And then there'll be a separate day we'll just do containers, because there's loads of those. So I ventured over to grow bags this year. This is where our water source is, our well, making it very easy to water. And when I did this video last, there was a lot that didn't come up, but now everything is up. The only thing that's really taking its time to sprout is the oregano, but I do see a little bit of green. You can't see it on camera, but I can see it. It's coming. So we have parsley, thyme, cilantro, basil, some peppers, dill, onion, more peppers, a tomato. In this bed we have carrots. So these ones are 5 gallons. These ones are 10 gallons. No, 7 gallons. I think I'm getting confused. I think these ones are 7. These ones are 10. So we have 2 of carrots, 2 of peppers, 2 of beets, and 2 of tomatoes. Peppers are some sweet and some hot. And then we have the 15 gallons. We have cucumber, zucchini, squash, and 2 of corn. So as these things grow, what I'm finding that's going to be appealing is when I grew any kind of leggy vegetables, like anything squash, zucchini, cucumber, anything that required lots of vines to spread, it was very cumbersome over on the lawn because of mowing. So here we just have the bags up on the pallets, and I'll just get some additional pallets and we'll spread the bags out once they start putting on more growth and just let them do their thing, because it's just all gravel here and they can just spread right out and love life. So that is the plan. We'll see how it goes. These are, I mentioned winter sowing, so these are still some sunflowers. Darren did a bunch of sunflowers. He planted a bunch out, and our wildlife liked them for salad. So he had 3 jugs left. He decided just to leave them in the jugs to see if they will actually bloom. So we'll see. These are 5 roses and a bridal spirea. Beautiful color. And those are going into a new bed that's going to be developed early in July. So on the side of the hill where we lost all the birch, it's really sunny over there right now, and there's all of our birch. As I said, lots of firewood. We are planting out some larger trees soon, in the next couple of weeks, and just seeing what else we can develop over there to start filling in the space. So that's always exciting. Well, this was a very long video. I should mention over here in these bins, we had a whole line of lavender right next to our deck, and few of them did not come back. And because they were right next to our deck where we sit, they just were not attractive at all, because not only did some not come back at all, but some still maintained strong woody centers, and they're being very slow to take back. So we didn't get rid of them, but we will decide where we're going to put them, so that if they survive, wonderful. If they don't, that will be okay. So we will find a new home for them somewheres in the yard. The pollinators like them, so I don't want to get rid of them totally. Another view of the backyard, which to me, I know we are very, very fortunate. So I do not take this for granted one bit. Very blessed to be able to live somewhere where we can enjoy nature and really see it to its fullest potential. Well, everyone, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. There's a glare on my phone, so I'm not sure how great the quality of the video will be. If it's too crappy, I won't post it, so therefore you won't see it. But if it's doable at all, then we will put it up there. Have a great day.